Hello guys, welcome back. So, my name is Tumikadi and this is my world of programming. So this had to be part one. Hey, because I keep on underestimating these things, but it's fine. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna do part two of this guy because there's so much on that page. So we are done with part one and now we're gonna do part two. So without wasting any more of the time, let's go. And another thing, please go and watch part one. I'm picking up from part one. Right. So here, then I have a stack layout, right? That's going horizontally. Inside this stack layout, how many do I have? Oh, so inside this stack layout, well, when I'm done with this, I'm just gonna close them. When I'm done with them, I'm gonna close. There we go. So the stack layout horizontally is gonna have a frame. I'm using the frame. So what this is entire stack layout. So I'm having a frame with a Z index. This used to cause problems in production, but the team has resolved it. So has a shadow because this has a nice, beautiful shadow. And then the border color white, the corner radius 28, that roundness. Inside I have an image controller with the font image source. I'm using Font Awesome. I made a video specifically on Font Awesome. Please go and watch that video on the YouTube channel. And that's live, and then I'm referencing the name of the Font Awesome, and here are the Font Awesomes, right? They're part of the fonts, right? So this one is going to be size 22, meaning that this is going to be that email. Then I have another frame, right? The frame this time is going to have an entry, but this one is not a regular entry. That's why I wanted to do part two. So let me go to a folder called handlers. So handlers, it's a custom folder that I just decided to create. Inside I have a borderless entry, right? This is just a class, public class called the borderless entry, but inherits everything about entry because entry it's terrible. So but this one is a custom one of mine, right? So with this guy, how do I make use of it? I just say entry, remember namespace, there's a key. I want you to go to handlers folder, and in there, because it's inheriting from entry, let me close this part of the frame. So what I'm doing, I'm saying entry.borderless entry, right? And then it's normal. It's just that I have the power, to do certain things, right? So one of the things is, and before that, why it's so critical? Let's go here. This is why it's so critical. Borderless entry, this guy, entry handler.mapper.append to mapping. So I'm using that borderless entry class, right? So what I'm doing is for Android, I'm setting the background color to be transparent. That means it doesn't have the background color and it removes that horrible line there. That's why we need this. For iOS, there's no need. So that's why I have that borderless entry, because I need to remove that horrible background color. That there's this line, there's this annoying on Android. It's only for Android. I'm sure you get that. So there I am binding. Remember, this is a bindable system, right? For MVVM, I'm binding to a property called email. Text color is black. Placeholder is called email, and placeholder color is black. And then the keyboard it's email, and so forth. I'll talk about this when I do a video for validation. It has a validation. You don't just submit the data, right? So we are done with this frame. Let me close it. And this again, I'll talk about this is part of the validation. So let me skip that. So basically the same thing, that whatever I did here, I duplicated it, but for password. So this one I'm just using a different image for password, and for this is still borderless entry, but for password, because placeholder is password, and then is password true. Remember to set this to say true, because when you are typing, nothing should be visible there, but you can do this. Okay, good. So like I said, I will do the validation thereafter. Then after that, we have another stack layout. This one is for this remember me, because part of your design, you need to do this, because I don't want my users to keep on entering their email and password without having to give them an option for this system to remember their credentials, right? And it works, by the way. It's not just something that's there, for decoration. No, it works. So horizontally, and I'm just gonna have the margin, move it from the top 30, and then I'm just gonna have a label. You need to start with the label and say text remember me, color is black, font is 16. Then you have a checkbox underneath. It will swap them around for some weird reasons. Don't think when you put the checkbox first, it will be the one that starts now. Checkbox, it's bindable to say stay logged in. The color, it's blue. When you do this, it becomes blue, right? So it's checkable. And then on the platform specifically for iOS, I'm minusing 12. There was a reason why. And then for Android, minus, just to get it, closer to, this guy, because remember it's top. So if I don't do this, it's gonna be a bit messy. Yeah. So then I have a button, this big beautiful button with a command. Like I said, it's bindable, login command, and then the text is login. And then I'm using the styles, and I'll show you the styles in a second. Okay, let's go to the styles, because most of my buttons, why am I showing you this? Most of my styles, at least I'm reusing some parts of the components or some components, right? So let's go to styles. If we go to styles and then here are the styles, you see, I like the comments. Yes, and then this is a bottom button. So this guy, what he does, right? Buttons bottom. Buttons bottom. So this guy, I'm saying this is gonna be the key, and it's gonna target the button. You're gonna have the text color, what's inside, to be white, but the background color is gonna be blue, right? And then the height required is gonna be 56 because I want them to be standard, and the margin is gonna be 10 on the left and then 10 on the right. From the top I want it to be 6, and the bottom I want it to be 10. So this is a reusable component because all my buttons are using there's a buttons bottom. I call them, it's buttons, but at the bottom, right? So like I said, then the margin itself for Android 10, 30, 10, 20, because of this page specifically, right? Just to have some space and space there. Then I have another stack layout, right? Horizontally. So this one, this way it's interesting. Now I'm gonna have a label that says forgot your password here. Forgot your password, and then reset here, right? So this is the reset part. The color it's blue. This one, the color is black. But the entire thing, whether you tap there or you tap here, the best practice as a UI designer, you need to make this whole thing tappable, clickable. That's why I wrapped it inside the stack layout, and I'm using gesture recognizer on the actual stack layout, and it knows it's bindable, it knows to trigger that. And I'm using for the register, and finally those busy indicator, they're at the bottom, the busy indicator and the connectivity, right? So for now, if I tap forgot, even here, you see me tapping there, it goes because it's bindable. So it knows what to pull, where to go to the website, which is License Any Tips website, and it will show the page of forgot password, and you can reset your password inside the app, but you're using the web view, because there's a web view. You can also do the registration. So this is one of the best practices. Like I said, you might think this is nothing. No, it's not nothing. As long as you're quickly able to pinpoint what is it that you need to do, then you're good to go. Because you need to be disciplined. Like the spacing, I love everything about the spacing between controls. If this, like I'm doing gesture recognizer on the stick layout, immediately it's gonna be tied to the parent controller. I don't want spaces. And then I always end with the margin. If you take a look at it, I always end with the margin. Always end with the margin, because the margin is something that you're always gonna go back to and play around with. So I like that flexibility of ending up with the margins, right? So like I said, you can just close that. We're still on the app itself. And there we go. So next, I'm gonna do this. You see, says email not, it's not valid. And then if I remove the password and then go back there, this is coming next year. How did I achieve this? Listen, I can teach you all this for 25 Rand per session. That session is a full hour. You get to ask me anything that you want to ask, right? And then I'll show you how I built this system, everything that I've done to build this system. This is just the beginning. I'm still gonna do a lot of videos for this. Until next time.